In the last video, sorry, kind of lost my train of thought there. In the last video, we covered, the things I carry on my person and, the items on the outside of the pack. This video, we're actually going to dive into the pack and see what's in here. One of the things, I don't want to get too much into different pack types because, this is just meant to be kind of an overview of information, not a in-depth video. But this is what's known as a panel loader. Some packs are top loaders where they have a drawstring at the top and they open up and you stuff everything down in. Other packs like this is called a panel loader. Basically what that means, there's a zipper that runs the whole way around the outside. And you can just unzip it and it gives you full access to everything in it. And the reason I chose this pack for this video is I thought it'd make it easier for you to see what's actually in here and what's going on instead of me just pulling stuff out of the top of a pack, But alright, let's get into it. Alright, zip it halfway here. This pack has a pocket on the top right here. Your pack's going to have its own pockets, wherever they're located. But what I use this pocket for, these are items that I want to be able to find when I need them, but it's not an emergency item that I need to get to quickly, So it's just things like my headlamp. And of course with the headlamp, spare batteries for the headlamp and the GPS. This is a Gerber Sportsman saw, I think. This is one of the best handheld saws I've ever found. This thing just eats through wood fast. I mean, now granted, a full-size bow saw is going to get you a lot further, but this is good. If you use this in conjunction with a small fixed blade, you could practically build a cabin if you had to. I mean, they're take a lot of work, but you can do it. Next, I take my cell phone, usually bring a set of headphones, and I use it as an MP3 player. It's got an AM/FM radio on it too, so if you're in a location where you can get reception, you can get weather updates. But beyond all that, even if it didn't have those capabilities, I still carry it as just a possible emergency communication. I mean, I don't have reception most places, but if I can manage to get to the top of a hill, most hills in the Allegheny National Forest, which is where I'm usually at, I can get at least good enough reception to send and receive text. Usually though, anything 1,800 feet or above, I can usually make phone calls, check my email, whatever. So if someone needs rescued and you can get to the top of a hill, you can get them help, whether it be you or someone else. Alright, next, toilet kit. This is something you do not want to forget. Something I highly recommend that everybody has in their kit is some hand sanitizer. I'm a big believer that most of the illnesses that come from backcountry travel are not from water, from contaminated water. I think they're from someone goes off, fertilizes a tree, they come back, they didn't sanitize their hands. As soon as they get back, they stick their hand in their bag of beef jerky or trail mix, and then they hand it to someone else, and they do the same thing, and you're just spreading, nasty stuff to everybody. So I think that's very important. Alright, now, open this up the rest of the way here. Check my time, because this is actually take 4. Whole new respect for those infomercial guys that are able to get a lot of information across in a short time. Alright, the way I pack everything in here, the order that's put in here is basically things that I will either need very quickly or frequently throughout the day. We'll start that with, this is my sit pad. It also works in conjunction as part of my pillow. It's just a little Thermarest inflating pad. If the ground's wet or muddy, whatever, you can sit on it. Big thing to recommend when you fold these up, whether you use something like this or a foam pad or Tyvek, fold the dry side to the dry side and the wet side on the outside. And in that way, all of the stuff that's wet will stay wet and all the stuff that's dry will stay dry. Alright, next, my food bag. I keep my snacks in here for throughout the day, so you know, I'm going to be getting into this off and on through the day. Another thing important to mention I have in here is my bear rope, so I don't have to look for that. I know exactly where it's at when it's time to hang it. Also, my fuel for my stove's in here too. Next is my shelter. This is an 8x10 tarp. I haven't used the tent in years. Some people prefer them. You know, it's your comfort level and your preference really is what it boils down to. But I have that. Alright, next is the cook pot. And in here I have my silverware, well, my stove, my titanium spork, my windscreen, and then of course the pot itself. I made this, the bag for this is actually just the foot end off of a wool sock. And it does two things. It keeps everything together, so it's not flopping around inside the pack. Plus, it's a nice little insulator, keeps your food warm, also protects your hands, you know, when you're drinking your coffee in the morning and stuff. I found I try to do everything with just the one pot. You know, and I've found a 22-ounce pot does pretty much everything I need it to do. But, alright, move on. Sleeping pad. This is an old Thermarest pad. This is from back before they even made the mummy cutlings. This is an old rectangular beast. Major thing to mention, I think a lot of new people have a misconception that these are purely for comfort. A sleeping pad main purpose is to insulate you from the ground. You know, because when you lay down on your sleeping bag, you crush all that insulation underneath you. And when you crush that, there's no warmth. So the ground will just suck all the heat straight out of you. This stops that from happening, and it is very important. Alright, next, camp shoes. This is another one of those things that's really up to the individual, and for me it changes from trip to trip. If I'm trying to trim weight, and it's warm out, I might not take any. You know, in the winter I have a really nice pair of down booties. It helps keep my feet very warm. Some people like flip-flops, sandals. You know, the Crocs are really popular. Lately I've been doing trying the moccasins. I like the idea. They're so versatile because I get to camp, I can take off my shoes if they're wet or just I'm tired of wearing them. I can put these on, but I can still do everything I want to do around camp wearing these. You know, I can go and collect firewood, I can go for a short hike, you know, I can run off, fertilize a tree, you know, whatever. You know, so, you know, they're not much heavier than most of the other ones, so I'm really enjoying them. But like I said, it's subjective to what you want to do. Alright, last not least, gotta hurry. This is my dry bag, and all it is just a garbage bag. And depending on the weather conditions, the nature of the trip, I might take something a little more durable or whatever. Inside of here, I have my hat, because a hat and a head is worth a sweater in the back, and in my experience that's 100% true. Long sleeve shirt to sleep in, or just a dry shirt to change into. And then a dry pair of socks, because I've personally found for myself, if I can keep my feet warm and dry, I stay warm. And then this is my pillowcase. It's a Thermarest pillowcase. The sit pad fits in here, stuff some extra clothes in, you got a pillow. And then, of course, sleeping bag. And before I get cut off here, it's very important that everything in here stay dry. Because if this stuff stays dry, you always have extra stuff to put on and stuff to keep you warm. But I am almost completely out of time. We'll go more in depth with a lot of these items in later videos, but thanks for hanging out, and I hope you enjoy it. Hopefully you learned something. All right, thank you. Bye.